man, I just noticed. This bull has, like, curly hair. Okay. Yeah, I'm thirsty. Jesus Christ. It's an easier. Mm-mm-mm. Hello, everyone. Sorry. Okay. Hello, everyone. It is me. I am me. Again, we're gonna play a new video game. Or another video. We were where? Here? A moment of weakness. You spend the rest of the day with Asterion and Coda in the lounge, admiring the change in decor, sharing drinks and exchanging stories. Coda had some interesting stories to tell about his life on the road. Hold up, I gotta check this, like... Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Hey, hello everyone. It is me. We're gonna start a new video. A moment of weakness. A little bit louder. Sorry about that. You spend the rest of the day with Asterion and Coda in the lounge, admiring the change in decor, sharing drinks and exchanging stories. Coda had some interesting stories to tell about his life on the road. You recounted some of yours in return. Companies you worked for, that time you tried freelancing. Of course, you and Coda had to take a break to explain computers to Asterion. Asterion kept quiet for most of the conversation about past experiences. His brief answers made clear his apprehension about sharing his story with Coda. Still, the Minotaur had his shy smile throughout the whole night. As soon as the topic turned back to anything less personal, he rejoined the conversation. With the aid of a few glasses of wine, Asterion's posture relaxed, slouched on his chair, oh my god, eyes half closed, and he was afloat in a sea of bliss. Eventually, it started getting late, and you bid Coda farewell. You and Asterion meanwhile returned to the master's quarters. Asterion stumbles about. Oh, sorry. Asterion stumbles about with you. Drowsy but happy, he hums and sways his head back and forth, his hooves at a rhythm which echoes through the hallways. When he looks back to you, his one eye has a faint glimmer. Long day, huh? Yes, indeed. It's been so long. Time demanded its due. So much has changed. Peculiar faces, a different lounge, a whole new time. But I feel like I used to back then. Surrounded by friends, talking well into the night. I have a purpose again. I cannot thank you enough. It's nothing. No, it's quite something. It is a high honor to serve you, Master. While we're at it, there's something about which I should inform you. It is your right as Master to know, and my duty as Keeper to inform you. Remember that story I told you in the lounge? Which one? You told so many. The one about Master Robert and his son Bernard, whom I helped raise. Now where should I start? I asked you today if you liked how I looked. When I tried on my clothes, that was not a trivial question. The Master has a right to determine how the Keeper should look. That, of course, includes how I should present myself, what my uniform should be. But it goes deeper than that. During Master Bernard's mandate, he deemed I should have a white fur before arriving here. He was a physician, you see. He believed it would convey cleanliness. Meanwhile, Master Robert would always want me to have a black fur, even as a child. He thought I looked respectable and imposing like that. And that he too would seem powerful when riding on my back. I suspect with time, Master Robert insisted that I have black fur solely to annoy his father. The two of them bickered about it quite often. They'd even exchanged jabs about it during dinner. But when the father was on his deathbed, he requested for a moment to talk in private, which each and every one of his descendants. Not so private in reality, I stayed up by the bedside to annotate his will, to make sure each and every one would have their corresponding legacy. Midway through, he asked me to see how he remembered me. His son, Angus said, and so I served him until the end. To my unfaltering servant, it's what he wrote in the letter. And Sir Robert, to my childhood playmate. This too is Master's right. You may choose how I look. The labyrinth's magic will change it. By the oath I sworn, I am obligated to inform. I am bound to instruct you, to my best of my abilities, on all the hotel's capacities. So you see, my asking Master what he thought of my clothes, that was not trivial. Your answer will is in order. Sorry. The why? I have burdened you terribly, my lord. With my rambling, I would prefer not to weigh you down further with an unsightly knowledge. But to answer your question in a delicate way, as you can see, I can be healed quickly. The special wine I drink is used to hasten the process. I am terribly difficult to injure permanently. The labyrinth allows the master to control my form to an extent, with the goal of making it so I would not heal from certain injuries, should the master wish it so. Why further? What do you mean by that exactly? I am obligated to answer your question, my lord. If truly it is your wish to know, then I shall tell. There are masters before the hotel who preferred to have my limbs removed. Under normal circumstances, the labyrinth would heal me and return them. Others preferred keeping me beheaded and conscious for months or years. With this power, the master can return my default shape. But the people of age are merciful, more so than the first Athenian masters, surely. To them, torturing me was an act of worship. One could say human ingenuity perverted the god's power. The Minotaur shifts back on his hooves. His expression takes on a cold, almost glassy look. By the oath I am bound. I was killed by decapitation, and so the masters in the labyrinth found it fitting to use that as the main element of my sentence. When that grew stale, they realized it was more harrowing to keep me decapitated, but that too became unsatisfying. I thought about the pain and discomfort so often that it would stop making sense. Think about pain for so long, and it stops hurting. So they kept switching it up. Amputations at first, so they could throw me into the monsters in the valley, and seeing as I had no legs, I wouldn't be able to escape. Then evisceration, when they learned that removing my kidneys and liver brought about unique forms of suffering. Every part of my body has been removed at least a dozen times, then put back and removed again. Some masters were lazy. Instead of innovating on my tortures, they'd keep me beheaded, or grind up my body for a pulp for decades while they enjoyed the labyrinth. This is all possible because they could determine my shape. I have been put under all manner of torture known to man, and then some. Compared to that, I've been through. Having my fur color picked by the master is nothing. I'd take it any day over being skinned alive and left to fend for myself out in the valley. Now you know. I suppose Master sees where I'm going with this. What is your will, my lord? Which one do you want, Asterion? Which color would you rather be? Excuse me? You heard me. What color would you rather be? What do you prefer? Master need not worry about what I want. I am the servant. My will shouldn't affect your judgment. But I want to learn more about you. I would appreciate knowing, even if you don't think it matters. The Minotaur sighs and bites his lip. You think you displeased him somehow, but then a smile grows, shy as a blossoming flower. It means a lot to me that you asked. It is very kind of you. It is just, pardon me. I am not used to being asked what I want. I have to admit that I miss having white fur. It is what my original color back when I was alive, you see. I descend from Poseidon's white bull. But anything will do, my lord. I am already overjoyed that you care enough to ask. Oh, if Master would allow an impertinent inquiry, did you choose white fur because of what I said? As I explained, I am happy enough knowing you care to ask. You need not restrict your choice because of me. Anyhow, if white truly is what you want, then I gladly obey. Asterion closes his eyes and focuses. Before your eyes, his fur begins to change. He looks so old. Wow. Like a... Asterion's fur is now lustrous white color, as you per your request. I'm honored with your choice, Master. Asterion heads to the kitchen to prepare your dinner. From time to time you see him staring his arms while he's cooking. Maybe he's getting used to the new fur color. After a while, Asterion returns to the table, serves your dinner, and sits on the opposite end of the table, as usual. When you look up, you are greeted by Asterion's big, dopey smile. He tries to contain himself, but it ends with him having to stop his giggling. At times, he's almost dozing off, still with a smile plastered on his face. You finish your meal. Asterion goes to pick up your dish, as usual. This time you left a big chunk for him to have, and he smiles as he heads to the kitchen. You bid each other goodnight, and then head to your respective bedrooms for the night. The following morning, as usual, the sound of Asterion's hooves clopping on the floor and the smell of breakfast wakes you up. You wake up, get dressed, and head out to the bathroom. Bedroom. Okay. Asterion once again greets you. Good morning, Master. Hope you slept well. After the breakfast routine, this time, Asterion served scrambled eggs and ham, and freshly squeezed orange juice. He washes the dishes and returns to you. What are your plans for today, Master? Well, it's still pretty early. I think I'm going to stick out around here and tinker with my phone a little, to see if I can get it to work. What about you? I think I'll head down to reception, see if we're lucky enough to get any more guests. So soon? Well, I guess Coda got here soon after we lit the Earth, so it's possible. Oh, before I go, what should I wear today, Master? Is my fur color alright? I mean, you look good, I guess. Jeez. This looks odd. I've never seen it. Actually, no, I've seen a cow. I've seen a cow look like this, though. I've seen cows look like this. Never a white one, though. Anything new? Nothing. Wait, does white look better with this? No, he looks more modern. I guess that would. Wait, what? Class Asterion? Oh my god, it's code. I hate code. This is from the 40s? No way. You like this? Okay. What's the matter, Asterion? Well, I'm debating whether or not I should tell you this or not, but I suppose it mustn't mean a lot to you. But I appreciate the Master has been good to me in one sense. What do you mean? Some of the more ruthless masters enjoyed humiliating me in many ways. Stripping me down and making me walk on all fours. That was a common one. I may be a hybrid, but I am half human. I am not a beast. That came to an end, thankfully. In accordance to the contracts written and signed by previous masters, I am forbidden from exposing myself when we're expecting guests. Neither may I establish a relationship with a guest. I am under a variety of restrictions. That kinda sucks. You're stuck here forever, but you can't make friends? Wow. Or like, have a lover? Jeez. Not all of those contracts are written out of kindness, but they are beneficial. I am happy that you haven't attempted to break that rule, Master Lucian. Forgive me for bringing up the subject, but I thought it was important that you know. Very well then. I shall head to reception. Asterion leaves and gives you a smile before closing the door behind him. You sit down on the couch staring at the door and then the window and think about how to spend your morning. No, we don't get to choose. Luke. Stargazing and Whiplash. Whiplash? What is Whiplash? Like, I think of that one scene from where are we? Oh, it's the birdie. I saw this guy. We saw him before at the fire. Skipped guest scene. The Griffin sits on the damp picnic table, sipping his stale, diluted all-American beer. He hunches... all-American beer. Sorry. He hunches forward, supporting his elbows on his knees, and inhales the petrichor wafting from the rain-slick soil. He enjoys every gulp of his lukewarm Bud Light, letting it sit on the beak until all the taste is gone before swallowing. He looks ahead, towards Cape Canaveral's launch site, to avoid staring at the families nearby. He tells himself to smile. Wow, I like that look. The table is coated in a fine layer of salty water, blown onto the mainland from the sea up ahead. The same salty condensation coats the Griffin's feathers and fur and beak. His mind hops from each languid blink of his eyes. Oh, what? Okay. The lukewarm beer with an aluminum aftertaste. Petrichor smell mixed with his grass from the rain. The humming of insects. Oh, okay, I'm sorry guys. That was horrible. The catchy pop song blaring from the stereo a few yards away. He taps his feet to the song's rhythm while laying a hand over the front pocket where he keeps his passport. The setting sun glaring at him, he raises a hand to shield his eyes and looks at the fine men hanging around their families, dancing to the song. He knows he shouldn't. They are married after all, but the Griffin can't stop himself from fantasizing. They are stout, hairy, and damp from the humid day under the Florida sun. Their shirts have sweat stains. A few of them are wearing tank tops that ride up their bellies, showing off their treasure trails and navels. One of them in particular, a man in his mid-30s wearing khaki knee-high shorts and a button dress shirt adorned with the NASA logo, makes the Griffin thirsty. He's grateful for his shades. It's easy to turn your head away when keeping your eyes drilled on the prize. One would guess he's enjoying the pinks and oranges of the setting sun. I am. I like this color. But there's no containing a longing like this. That's a fine man for sure, but it's the shirt that sells it for the Griffin. Surely it's just some gift shop memento, but maybe he's an engineer on his day off. He's always had a thing for smart men like that. What wouldn't he do to taste him? Feel him? Hear him gush over the latest project? The Griffin opens another beer and chugs it, even with his eyes closed, and he lays a hand on the table and recognizes all the carvings on it, dating from decades ago. At times like this, the griffin avoids thinking in words. There's a danger in eloquence, but he cannot escape them forever. He checks his phone and scrolls over the messages from his mom and siblings, telling him that they wouldn't be able to attend this year. The griffin sits on the picnic table, caressing the carvings he left over the years. Okay. And assaulted by words. He calls himself Luke. Today, he is alone, with his own thoughts, and nothing is more terrifying. This is the first time only one of them came over to watch the launch. For decades now, their tradition is fulfilled without interruption. A yearly visit to Cape Canaveral to watch a launch. He knows that traditions are powerful, for as long as they remain unbroken. But he's here, and hopefully that will be enough to keep it going. Next year he'll drag everyone along, even if it's the last thing he'll do. Even like today, the launch is cancelled at the last minute. Oh, even if like today, the launch is canceled at the last minute, Truth is seeing the rocket go up is a happy surprise. But it is not all necessary part for the tradition. What matters is bringing the family together to remember. The griffin opens another beer can, so he'll keep drinking well into the night, at times sneaking sideways glances at all those fine men. Fine married straight men. Hoping one of them looks back and with the same lecherous eyes. Is he side-eyeing? Whoa. If they look his way, they'd see a painfully average human. An American with a hazel hair and somewhat tan skin. Luke pats his passport once more. How fragile his illusion that keeps people from seeing his true form. A simple booklet is his main shield against detection. And that same little notebook is what keeps all these men from looking at the griffin and noticing him. It makes him unnoticeable. Where they looked his way, he'd be like a distant memory. A nondescript human shape their minds will gaze over. That is the way the mythical creatures must carry, he knows. Luke thinks back to his childhood, surrounded by more of a dozen siblings, back at the old farmhouse to the east of Austin. During summer, the entire family would sleep on the porch to cool off. The kids would become a mass of limbs piled together, breathing in unison. The boys in one corner, the girls in the other. Luke and his brothers would look up to the stars and trace constellations. Peter, the eldest, would tell stories behind each one of them, or make them up as Luke realized when he listened to the army, and was mocked for thinking Orion was playing guitar. Tonight, Luke cradles his memories. He'll sleep cuddling his picnic table, looking up to the stars he'll never touch. When he speaks, he has the voice of a schoolboy, and hears Peter telling him all the made-up stories. One can almost forget the hardships and temptations of being an adult at such times. By the time dawn breaks, he will be a man again on his way home. Driving scares away the words. One's conscious mind turns off, and all that is left is being in the moment. Pure mechanical memory, alongside the scent of his cracking flat leather seats. Oh, creaking? Okay. Long drives and thousands of miles never scared Luke. Ever since the 2010s, his 20s, 10 hours on the road or more were always welcome. He has a home, a small cottage in the mountains of a flyover state, 40 miles away from the nearest town. Not a single neighbor, human or otherwise. It wasn't worth it making the effort to build bonds when he would just be forgotten. That was the effect of the passport and all the charms he used. It disguised the griffin as a human, but also made most people prone to forgetting him. He could never remain there for long. The isolation got to him, but neither did he fare well in cities for long. Being forgotten was too much. The cabin was just a place he had the keys for. His car was a better home, although the With all the traveling over the years, he had learned to not grow attached to any specific vehicle, even if he took care of them like a son. Home was the road in Home was the road in all of its forms. Usually car, but also train, bus, even hitchhiking. As for a bed, this time in the military taught him that the floor is good as any bed. Although sometimes he lay there at night and wondering if he was in a bed instead, would there be someone beside him? He looks down to the cup holder to his right. There's his passport, that little blue booklet, his ball and chain. He can't lie to himself. He can't stay long in a place. My God, guys. Sorry. But he can't speak the truth either. Words, he knows, are dangerous. For a man such as him, these wordless moments of a mechanical memory feel like the closest paradise he will ever experience. Just do. Be. Don't think too hard about it. A reverie such as this can last days, but it is fragile that all it takes is a single unforeseen shift and it shatters. That's what happens. Far ahead, something catches Luke's eye, a man walking beside the road. Okay, please. I know who it is because I accidentally read this before and I forgot to record it. I thought I recorded, guys. Sorry. He doesn't think. The impulse to help a stranger just hops up to the forefront of his mind. He wants to give him a ride. The car comes to a screeching halt. Luke lowers the passenger's side window and stretches over to greet the traveler. The Griffin cranes his neck up and down to take a good look at the man, but speaks before he even sees his face. Hey you, want a ride? Oh my God, I don't know what kind of accent this guy has. Alright. I guess I do. I can try. The Griffin, he's American. The Griffin is still appraising the man, quite openly in fact. It's been a few days since he's seen any action, and the last afternoon at Cape Canaveral only revved up his boosters. Luke stares openly at the stranger's crotch. Okay, dude. I don't think reading this again will make me think about how crazy this guy is. Now that's a happy surprise, he thinks. It's not every day a handsome hitchhiker packs his own lunch. A thick length of denim-busting sausage. Now aren't you a good Samaritan? Don't mind if I do. Oh, that's... Forgot his name already. Oh. The traveler has a stiff accent, with sharp consonants and a chirpy, youthful voice. As soon as he enters, Luke's surprised with how well kept he is. He smells like fresh laundry. That's an even better surprise. It's never sexy when a car ends up smelling like a garbage truck. The two of them set off together with the radio blaring, a sweet jazz tune. Luke sneaks away, glances at the fine piece of man, barely able to contain the throbbing need in his pants. Not many people nowadays give rides to just anyone they see on the road. That's very kind of you, mister. Luke. Oh, shoot. Luke. Luke. Just Luke. And what can I say? I don't have the heart to leave someone in the middle of nowhere. I travel a lot, you see. Did a lot of hitchhiking, so I always try to help out and pay it forward. By the way, mister, I'm afraid I didn't get your name right either. Gene. That's what my friends call me. Oh, so we're friends already. That was quick. Of course, I've been on the road for a good while too, and I can appreciate someone who treats travelers properly. People like us ought to look out for each other's needs. Oh sure, I know how to treat a traveler properly. Luke sneaks another sideways glance to Gene and spreads his legs. The bulge of his erection is plain for the traveler to see. He sure could go for a blowjob right now, giving one that is. It's not easy to giving head when you have a beak, but practice makes perfect. And Luke has had a lot of experience. It takes a conscious effort to keep himself from pulling over and going down on Jean. He must have a fine D, he thinks, but it hardly matters when that D is like any D is good enough. Luke wonders how Jean likes to go at it. Maybe he'll grab the griffin's head and go to town. He might even end up with slobber running down his chest and feathers all ruffled up. That's how a proper going at it ought to leave you, he thinks. All disheveled with the taste of essence lingering in your mouth. Or maybe Jean is the type to pull out when he's going. I don't know, I'll say splooging. When he's splooging. That'd be fine too. Having a load drying on his feathers, it's not like anyone would notice since they are already white, but it'd be hot if they did. Luke never bothered hiding how much of a slut he is. Okay, I don't know any other word for that. It's sexy in its own way. He wouldn't mind getting railed either. Bending over the car's burning hood, spreading his legs, and letting the stranger make him into a bitch. Yeah. Wow. And nothing beats driving with the load in his guts. But then again, the traveler has such delicate features, it's hard to imagine him as a rough fucker, even when he's the kind to make love. Oh wait, what? Maybe he's the kind to make love. The griffin feels the tension rise in the air. His erection strains against his pants. It wouldn't be long now before a wet patch forms on his crotch. His daydreaming, however, killed the conversation. He wants more of that exotic voice, and to make sure the traveler is up for it. He must be one of those weirdo foreigners, Luke thinks. You have a funny accent, Jean. Mind telling me where you're from? Well, I'm from Europe, but you can just call me... Oh, wait, what? Sorry. But you can probably guess that I don't live there anymore. I work as a delivery man, so I don't ever stop for long in a single place. I don't like Jean. That's his name. In fact, that's why I'm here to begin with. I'm making a delivery truck to stop by a few miles up ahead. You only have to take me that far. You're American, yeah? Or yes? Is that a Texan accent I notice? Damn right. Born and bred in this Lone Star State, and a proud veteran to boot. I don't live there anymore, but let me tell you, there's no place quite like it. The men are men, for starters, and no food beats ours. I've heard some New Orleans Cahoon food is better, and it is good, don't get me wrong, but nothing compares to our BBQ, nothing. I've been to Europe, I've had your grub and drank your wine. It ain't too bad, but y'all are too classy and stuck up for your own good. Back when I was there, I would rather have my MREs than the stale bread the French gave us. I don't even get what all the fuss is about. That baguettes and croissants. Back then, they wouldn't even spare us a pat of butter. Never got what was so good about macarons either. Back when I was in Nancy, they all tasted like cough syrup. French food ain't what it's cracked up to be. The talking makes Luke forget about his raging erection. Wow. He's used to being silent and avoiding words, but of course he is almost always on his own and on the move. The prospect of company warms him up, and all the words come pouring out. Words aren't so prickly when you have company. And while, if not most, would feel intimidated or weirded out by Luke's ramblings, the traveler cracks a smile and nods along. Now, that hand really pops out. Have you ever been to Texas? You need to try our cornbread, plus a proper burger, with a nice cold Dr. Pepper. Pepsi drinkers get the rope. Good old Texas barbecue too. You have to try it. It's the best in the whole goddamn world, and the rest can suck it. I don't know if a fancy pants European like you can appreciate a proper burger though. Seen one of you trying to eat one with a fucking fork and knife. Then again, aren't knives banned over there in Europe or something? Texas will make it out of you. Texas will make a man out of you. And if you're ever in Houston, there's so much to see. Mission Control and the Space Center for starters. They have a kick-ass pickle pops if you gotta try those. Well, I've been to Texas before, yes, but I admit I have been through all those experiences. But I have not been through all those experiences before. I'm sorry. Definitely had a tech. Definitely haven't had a Texas barbecue. I'll haven't. I'll have to get that sorted out next time. Can't make such a foul pass again. Now there's another one of those fancy European words. Foul pas, thought the Griffin. If you don't mind me asking, what brought you here to Florida? Oh, it was a family reunion. Ma and all the siblings get together once a year to watch the rocket launch. It's our tradition. But the whole thing went to shit. Everyone was too busy this year. I came anyway, of course, but can't let a tradition die. But even the launch itself left me hanging. The whole thing got delayed. It got me so bummed I decided just to go home early. I usually pop by Fort Lauderdale for a week or two of fun, but I figured I wasn't in the mood for it. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. And Fort Lauderdale? That's a destination if you want to party. Maybe a more relaxing vacation would do you good. You've already visited France. I'm sorry if you had a bad experience, but maybe you should try giving Europe another chance. What? Bruges is a great time of year. Bruges is a great this time of year. It's like a fairy tale. Is there any place you'd like to visit? Luke thinks before answering. France is out of the question. Same goes for Germany, Italy, perhaps, or Greece. Yeah, there's a place. I'm 3.125% Greek. You know that's where my family came from? Some 20 or 30 generations ago. I'm sure I have a lot of native in me too. From my mom's side. But I always thought myself as Greek. I ought to pay Namia a visit someday. See where my ancestors come from. The Nemean lion, Luke thinks. Large is a gap. What? Large is the gap between how a man sees himself and how he is seen by others. The hitchhiker sees a man, a painfully bland mixed race of American, but the rearview mirror sees Luke, his true shape. An enchanted passport is all that keeps his true shape hidden. Plus, I don't say Greeks were all about butt fucking each other. I gotta see for myself if that tradition still holds. Luke bursts out giggling while Jean watches him quiet. After the griffin's laughter dies down, he gives the man a sideways glance, and he feels the tension in the air. Somber thoughts, however, pass away quickly. Fresh needs to take over the griffin's mind. Now that the conversation's been properly ended, the horniness from nearly a week without getting laid throws all his subtlety out the window. He needs a dick. Now. And he has a hunch the traveler might swing that way. What hunch is that? I don't see a hunch. Hey buddy, you might have to make a quick stop. I really need to take a leak. It's your car, man. You are in charge. I'll take the chance to have a smoke too. Luke breaks too suddenly, betraying his eagerness. The pockets in his passport checks for oncoming traffic. There isn't any, and leaps out. The Griffin walks over to Jean's side of the car, and with his back towards it, pulls out his dick and smiles when he hears Jean's door opening and closing, and then the clicking of a lighter. Luke spreads his legs, raises his tail ever so slightly. He feels the traveler's gaze drilling him from behind. Jean walks up beside Luke and unzips his pants. The griffin stares at at the man's crotch and does his best to ignore the smoke. Doesn't that feel just right? Two men pissing outdoors? Jean keeps quiet. You know I could help you with that. Excuse me? You heard me. How about I suck a load out of your dick right here, right now? I keep forgetting the transition word. D. Dick equals D. I don't think you have what it takes. Is that so? I'm kinky. I can take whatever you can dish out. Are you sure about that? Luke's expression says it all for the man. Jean lets out a hearty laugh. Very well, say I didn't warn you. I'm a man of refined, exquisite tastes. I only take in similarly bold men. You see, I like some good old-fashioned cock and ball torture. Drop your pants, slut. Wait, what? You heard me. Drop your pants and brace yourself. Okay, you're right. That's not my thing. Not so tough now, are you kidding? I thought you were a man. Can't take a beating? Jean's bellowing laughter echoes through the wild wilderness. I'll have you know I can take whatever you dish out, but I'm not that stupid. Sorry, boy. I just don't feel like getting a blowjob. I don't have... Oh, okay. I don't have a ball kicking fetish. I just wanted to see you backpedaling. You son of a bitch. The tension in the air diffused with one fell swoop. They zip up there amidst their laughter and go back to the truck with arms over each other's shoulders. There's a chaste, soothing glow between the two of them. The rolling road slows down as Luke begins to near the truck stop. The lot is cracked to its edges and the gas pumps covers the speckled red dust. The truck stop has had its fair share of dust over time, despite the pale blue paneling and those tarnished window frames. It has remained a roadside hub for the road's regulars. There's still hustle and bustle at the stop after all these years. Truckers talking each other up and down, the lot backside filled by 18-wheelers, and the thick black smoke left behind by pickups as they continue their journeys on the road. Nothing quite like it, I swear. Open the window and take a whiff of that air. As Luke's truck moves over to the lot's entrance, Jean rolls down the window, and the intermingled smell of gasoline and 24/7 breakfast fills the vehicle. Now that's what I call Americana. Jean coughs hard, his words walking over each other as he quickly rolls the window back up. That's definitely something else, I can safely say. Jean lets out a fizzled and forced laugh, looking a bit sick already. Luke guffaw has his sling over what? Luke guffaw as he sling an arm over Jean's shoulder, amused by the delivery man's enthusiasm. Right after parking, the two end up leaving the truck and laughing like fools, mocking each other and talking dirty while walking. You know, Luke, I wouldn't mind catching you on the road again sometime soon. Luke's mind falls to the gutter again. Not like that, bird brain. I have deliveries along with this route often. You see, there's this hotel reopening a bit further down the road, and my employer might send you some shipments there soon. Yeah. I'll be honest, you look like you could use some time off. None of that Fort Lauderdale party life. I mean a place to cool down for a while. If you do stay there a while, I'm sure we'll end up seeing each other again. And I like that. I would. Oh, really now? I'll have to take you up on that. Ain't too common you make friends on the road. And I mean friends that show up on the same diner or rest stop more than every 3 weeks. It's not easy to make conversation with someone you don't see much, especially when half the time they barely remember you. What? People have a hard time remembering you? I find you hard to believe. You're very remarkable. It's complicated. You'll see for yourself. It's easy. forgetting people you meet on the road. It's not something we have control over. I must respectfully disagree. I have no issue at all remembering the people I've met on my travels. Well, you'll see. I won't forget you, kitten, especially if you stay on the road and stay in that hotel I mentioned. I'll be around there plenty. Someone has to drop crates at that dusty place. We'll see, Luke thinks, already aware of the human folly. The goddamn passport in his pocket will make sure Gene forgets about him. The two arrive at the manager's office, right by the rest stop's diner. I have to drop this package off, but you should try to get a room there. It certainly looks like it needs the guest. I'll think about it. Hotels can make your wallet drier than a Chihuahuan. Well, it is reopening just now. Wouldn't surprise me if they're doing some kind of low rate for the first few guests. Just give me a call or text sometime. The two of them exchange numbers quickly, before Jean extends his hand over to Luke, offering a gentleman's handshake. It was nice meeting you, Luke. I'll see you around, okay? Luke bats the hand away and gives Jean a heavy-handed pat on the back, almost knocking the poor man over. Now that isn't how you say goodbye to a friend. You take it easy, partner. The two break apart and wave goodbye as they walk away from each other. A man can dream of being remembered and making friends. Hope is delectable on its own, especially when it's foolish. Luke has had a smile stretched on his face before, talking. Notice of something more pressing his hunger. He might as well reward himself for being a good Samaritan he is. He turns away from his truck and heads toward the diner. The jingle of the doorbells announced Luke's entrance. A wrinkly-faced waitress welcomes him from the counter and asks for his order, pen in hand. I'll just take a coffee and 2 donuts if you got any. Sure thing, hon. You get comfortable, okay? Luke looks around briefly and notices there aren't too many seats that aren't worn to their stuffing. The only seat, a stained but plush bar stool, lies between two other men. Their frames are wide enough to overlap the empty seat. Luke might as well make room for himself. He walks his way down over to the seat, and then, with a quick pardon, the two scoot themselves away so that he can sit. Even still, the bird almost sandwiched between the two bulky men. Now after sitting down, a dish with the 2 fresh donuts and a steaming cup of coffee is set right in front of the griffin. Luke wastes no time and starts sipping at his coffee. Strong in taste and flavor. Oh, strong in taste and smell. It's something that he'll love until his feathers fall out. Just as he starts to eat, a stuffy snort beside him catches his attention. He glances to his side. A bulky beast of a man reading the paper, sleeveless shirt showing off that he definitely has some muscle to him. That is a human after all. I don't know. You do look human. Now, why does he have a CG? The army taught Luke of how to use his peripherals. He savors each glance as the man and he savors each glance he gives the man, especially the peeks he takes on his crotch. Nothing that won't set my rocks off, the sly eagle thinks to himself. Truckers always pack down there. With all that extra testosterone that comes from the job, it must go somewhere. Another bite of the donut travels down his throat as Luke glances over once more. The trucker scratches its exposed crack, unbothered by the fact others are around. The sight scratches Luke's itch too, arousing him even more. His donut dips into the coffee, and Luke glances over to the other side this time. The older trucker wasting no time scruffing a burger. His truck uniform hugs his belly before leading up to his unbuttoned scruffy collar. The griffin tugs at his own fly, making his tent more obvious. Now to catch either man's attention, Luke turns his head just a little bit and stares at the hulkish man. Not long after, the man peers back over and meets his gaze, then grunts and looks back to the paper. Luke looks back down at his food and then over to stare at him again. The man lowers his paper and takes a bit longer to look at the eagle. He smirks before pulling his paper up again. 2 minutes pass before Luke takes another look and catches a man looking him down before winking at him. Luke lightly kicks the man's foot, and the brute's knees reflexively spread wider. His eyes tent hidden. Oh wait, what? He eyes the tent hidden below. The counter's edge. The griffin has it down to an art at this point. Luke chuckles quietly, finishing up his meal, and looks over to the bathroom. A squat building across the parking lot. He looks back at the brute, tilts his head in the direction of the building, and then scoots out to head over. Discreet and simple, he listens and hears two deep voices, murmuring right behind him. Eagle eyes and hearing are something that he finds useful, even after his time in the military. Hist. Oh, that's a weird word. Luke waits outside the dumpster until he sees the trucker making his way to the restroom. After a minute, Luke follows. You got no other choice. You gotta do it. So, men and their unsightly wants. Many are the seductive sins, unrestrained deeds, disgraceful desires, and fleeting pleasures they embrace under cover of darkness. One can imagine what such fiery men do, and what regrets take them when the beating of their hearts is no longer the only thing thundering in their ears. I am afraid for this one, it will take a while for that song to end, for more men find their way to the restroom, and there they dawdle. As for us, witnesses, there is nothing to do but twiddle our thumbs until well past sundown. Too often nothing can be done to avert a man from his regrettable choices. Silence of one's mind often acts as a shield. His mind must be quiet, focused only on the pure mechanical perfection, while the scene unfolds around him. The smell of detergent, a dull throbbing want on the arch of his back. His eye is gone, soft and needy, wanting guidance, a reassuring hand. Here and there, between grunts, unwelcome memories intruding, similar escapades, but worse, yet familiar faces of the dearly departed. His beak with the little nick of his tail bent at the end. What would he think seeing Lucas like this, faced against the tiled floor? Did he imagine something like this when he first heard the news? Perhaps he did. Even if Luke wasn't like this when all happened, he might have guessed in a sick twist of fate. Luke tries to push these thoughts away. This is not the time. Let me enjoy it. Luke arrives at the cafeteria and asks for a cup of coffee. The look of disgust in the cashier's eyes make it clear he knows exactly what Luke was up to, and that he's not welcome to drip cum on the floor. The cashier slides a styrofoam cup over, and even if Luke didn't order it to go, he takes it and goes outside to sit down beside the dumpster and looks at the stars. His shaking hands spill half the cup's contents. The stinging heat doesn't even register. The griffin tells himself it'll all be fine once he's tracing the constellations. He'll feel like a little kid, and it will be like being back at the Cape Canaveral all over again. He's about to turn the corner when a cigarette stench hits him. The idea of being seen right now brings him no spark of excitement at all. Were he more in control of himself, he would have spun his heel and walked away. But his mind is slow. His legs move on their own, and he stumbles on none other than Jean, enjoying a cigarette. It's dark. Maybe he won't notice how much of a disgrace I am, thinks the griffin. And the smoke might hide the scent. Maybe he won't recognize me in the dark. But it only takes a moment for Jean to figure out who it is. Luke, is that you? I thought you had gone already. What are you doing here? Luke has to piece together Jean's answer, and then muster together a response, word by word. I wasn't feeling too good. So I took a nap in my car. I just woke up and went for a cup of coffee. Is that so? The griffin's voice sounds scratchy and gravelly. He can't stop himself from coughing his lungs out. Funny. I had noticed your car was still parked, but I didn't see you there when I passed by. He takes a long drag from his cigarette and lets his words linger. Luke sits on the ground and shrinks to himself and cradles his coffee. He dares not look at Jean, at the silhouette that and the burning tip of the cigarette shining. It seems like you're catching a cold too. You sound, pardon my bluntness, but like shit. Luke sips on his coffee, hoping it will give him enough time to recompose himself. But silence lingers, gnawing away at him. Jean holds out an answer for him, until it becomes too much for the griffin. And what are you doing here? Weren't you supposed to have left by now? Oh my ride? Oh my ride? Had a few issues. He'll take 1 more hour or so to drive. So here I am, waiting and watching truckers come and go. A lot of commotion tonight. The griffin's mind crashes and sways like the waves. He remembers how pleasant it was talking with Jean before. He just wishes that he had that again. Like earlier in the day, Luke acts before thinking. As the words leave his mouth, he already regrets them. I can give you a ride again. You're good company. I enjoyed the talk. How about that? Luke's stomach sinks. However, as he realizes he will be in no way to hide how much he's thinking. Jean will learn, if he hasn't already, what Luke is. Showing off his sexual conquests used to make him feel proud, but not tonight. Very kind of you, buddy, but I'm going back the way I came. Plus, you look like you really need a rest. Do you remember what I told you? There's a hotel up ahead. Supposedly it's reopening. Maybe you should stay a while. Well, maybe you should stay a while. Seems like you need it. Is there someone waiting for you back home? No, I live on my own. And any reason to return quickly? A job, family, obligations? Luke goes quiet to his coffee. Oh, what? Luke goes back to his coffee, and Jean takes a hint. Maybe I should, yeah? I suppose I could use some peace and quiet. A change of scenery? There's also a shower here. It's for employees, but I'm buddies with the owner. I have the key with me. I'm sure you'd be fine with using it. Yeah, I could use a shower. Jean hands him the key. I suppose I should give you privacy now. I guess he did notice how much he stinks. Jean stomps to his cigar. Actually, if you don't mind, would you talk with me for a while longer? Do you know about constellations, the names in their stories? Would it be okay if we talked about them? Look, there's Orion. Yeah, it's hard seeing Jean's face, but even if his eyes are covered in shadows, there is a glimmer. Sure, Luke. I know how to read the stars. It's useful. I'll tell you all about them, but you promise me you're going to take a break? Whatever you want, as long as you keep talking. Much has changed since Luke was a boy. No more sleeping on the porch in a pile with his brothers. No more listening to the radio after Dad got back from work. No more stargazing with Peter. He's a grown man now, covered in sex and knee-deep in self-loathing, struggling not to spill coffee from a styrofoam cup while sitting beside a dumpster. The shower will wash all away the gunk, but Jean's voice cleans his mind. When Luke closes his eyes, he can pretend it's Peter, his brother, though Griffin struggles to not fall asleep. When Jean's ride arrives, the two say goodbye. It's laconic and even sorrowful. Luke takes his shower and naps in his car. Looking out to the stars through the windshield, he's too tired to drive right now. Tonight, He holds on to his voice of his brother, like he's still a boy. When morning arrives, he'll be a man again. Sorry, I got tired for no reason. He'll be a man again on his way to the hotel he promised to check into. Luke adjusts the rearview mirror. His eyes watch for a moment. He doesn't appreciate seeing himself like that. Coming out of nowhere, mirrors he knows are dangerous. The engine revs once, twice, thrice for good measure. Luke's claws dig into the steering wheel's leather. Oh, don't ruin the leather. The early morning sunlight coming through the windshield warms his chest and grazes his beak. Oh, so this hotel is in Florida. I tell you, I've been to Florida and I've never seen a desert there. Just a lot of grass and green. He takes off. Sweet mechanical memory. It hardly takes a minute for the Griffin to start humming a tune. A fine jazz hit. Washing off all that gunk, a good night's sleep in the back seat, and Jean's talk got him back up and running. Yeah, he could use some time in a different scenery. Jean was right. It's not like he has anything better to do, or a job. The scenery shifts quickly. Just as easily as Luke jumps from one tune onto the next, he speeds up until his car is trembling, and its individual parts are shaking, threatening to come undone. More and more of his sweet danger. He would have gone further were it not for the blocky shape of about a mini. What? I am seeing things, guys. I read minutey. About a minute up ahead. How did he not notice it sooner in this flat desert? He takes his foot off the gas pedal and allows the inertia to carry him forward. He's still going fast enough that when he takes a right into the parking lot, the car swerves and the Griffin is pushed back against the door. He cackles with his forehead pressed against the window. The car comes to a halt precisely over the line separating two rows of the parking lots. Luke has broken his record by using not one, not two, but three. Not three, but 6 spaces simultaneously. How big is your truck? Jeez. His car's stereo still blurs jazz when he steps out of it, and he slams the door over to the beat of the song. The tune is no more, but the Griffin crosses the wide expanse of the parking lot, still humming the song, timing his footsteps to the beat. He climbs the steps, clinking his claws on the handrail. The doors swing open, and he lays his weight on them. And then he seals the deal with a final push that slams them into the walls behind. Luke's survival is like a judge's gavel, silencing the world around him. And in the ensuing emptiness, his stride still follows the jazz beat. Ever since he set out earlier in the morning, he's had this contagious spring in his step. At any given moment, he could burst out in laughter or dance. But now, as his eyes adapt to the newfound indoor lighting, and he sees the man behind the reception desk, Luke's attitude changes. Luke takes off his glasses. Hey, it's a big boy. Hey, you. Yes, sir? What the fuck happened to your face? Did a dog chew on it? Excuse me? You heard me. What happened to your... Oh my god. I'm mixing the voices. What happened to your face, and what kind of fancy thing did you do to get an LED in your skull like that? The Minotaur looks down, stuttering an inaudible response. He bites his lip hard, and a rivulet of cold sweat runs down his back. Jesus, if you want to look like a cartoon character, you don't have to rip half your face off. Luke's stride covers the distance between them. Before the Minotaur has a chance to think up an answer, the Griffin puts both of his hands on the desk and leans forward. His gaze locked on the Minotaur's empty eye socket, examining the flickering flame inside. What a weird little thing you are. What even are you? The Minotaur looks away and covers his face without a second thought. His entire back is covered in cold sweat now. I'm sorry, I know I am. In a flash, Luke's contained laughter bursts out like a dam. Haha, I'm just messing with you, buddy. You should have seen your face right there. Right there. Wow. I need to read more. Now that must have been one nasty fight you got into. But I've seen him been through worse. I know how it is. You wouldn't know it seeing as I don't have any scars to show, but yeah, I've been through some shit. Even been blown away once or twice, you know? Those old-timey stick-style grenades hurt like a bitch, and there was that one time now look at me. I almost went on one of my rambles. I could spend all day talking about it. It's such a fine piece of prime Angus steak as yourself. This guy has lines. Well, it doesn't matter. I want to book a room here. This place must be pretty good, right? The Minotaur stumbles at the mention of the hotel. He gazes his gaze showing a blossoming warmth, despite all Luke thrown in his face. But yeah, it's quite a marvelous hotel, and I guarantee it will improve. It is very empty right now, but it's sure to change in a few days. I'll hold you to that. So where do I sign? What are your rates? Oh yes, just sign here in the ledger and fill out these forms. This is our soft opening. We won't charge you, good sir. Oh, so this place is fancy and cheap? What's the catch then? I'm sorry to say that there is no catch. This place has a mission, you see, and, well, we don't ever charge much. A mission? This some sort of charity? I suppose that's a way to put it, yes. At least it was very good for a while. It's up to the owner. Luke has been checked in. You can see the current guests on the guest screen in the menu or clicking the ledger icon. Let's have a look. Noxious bird. Okay. Luke hands over the forms. The Minotaur takes a cursory glance at them. Mr. Lucas, born in October 1923. Your looks are quite misleading. I'd never guess your age. You'd never even, what? Wait, hold on. You'd even been, gosh, guys, I need to read this again. Your looks are quite misleading. I'd never have guessed your age. You'd even be old enough to, oh, you know how it is. Griffins don't age like humans do. And I'm from a fine lineage, you see. I'm 3.130%. 3.25% Greek. And my papa was just like me in that regard. Like, are you one of those guys to, like, remember one good fact about yourself and then never let go? Like, I think everyone has that, right? Maybe. I don't know. I got like one good. I remember I was good at soccer. I will the best of my state for a bit. But that was like 6 years ago. Ah, I see. I'm sorry, I admit, I've never met a griffin before. I don't know how it is, I'm afraid. Well, I could say the same. Never saw a Minotaur myself. I thought you guys were just some old Greek legend. Cretan. Excuse me? A Cretan story, not Greek. Greece didn't exist when it all happened. About 3,000 years before Christ. And forgive my pertinence. Here's your key, Mr. Walker. Your room is in the 3rd floor up, the staircase down the hall. I hope you have an enjoyable stay here with us. Oh, I'm sure I will. And I hope I get to have a taste of that Angus beef someday. Okay. We'll stop it here, because I am tired. Extremely tired. That was a good stretch. Yes. Alright, thank you all for watching. I don't feel like editing this, and I will possibly create an intro and outro this weekend. If not, don't worry about it. Just enjoy the video. Thank you all for watching, and good night, good morning, good afternoon. Or if you're studying, hope you do well with your studies or whatever test you have coming up next. Goodbye.